Doing front brakes today on a 2020 Range Rover Sport HST. These come with the larger calipers. I don't know if you want to call them a 6-piston. These came on all 17 and up HST Range Rovers. They also come on the SVR and some Discoveries if you optioned it out, right? But or 18 and up, I should say. But really, all 18 and ups really got these brakes. 17 was the only year where if you got an HST, you did get these brakes. But you're going to start with a 22mm socket on your impact gun, jack the truck up. Obviously, you always want to use a jack stand so you don't get hurt, but I don't. I bought Powerstop rotors from Rock Auto. There's the pad part number, 17-1426. They're the anti-rattle clips, H1405K, and then there's the rotor part number there, the same for left and right. So I'm just gonna bang the wheel off here. Easier said than done, and you always need two hands. One day we'll get a tripod, please hold. All right, so I've never taken these off before. I've had a bunch of Salines and older Brembos, Alcons, whatever, Shelby, that would come off like this. To remove the pads, if you wanted to just do a quick change on the pads only, you're gonna punch these pins out. 1, 2. Punch those out the back. You remove this hold down clip here. The pads slide in and out just like that. Obviously make sure the pad sits in this little groove here for the pin to go back through, and that's that. So I'm gonna punch those out anyways right now, and then you're gonna have to remove these two bolts. There's one, there's two, and that'll remove the caliper. I'm pretty sure they're the same size as the lugs. I think it's actually a 20. No, it's a 21. So you're gonna need a 21mm socket to blast those off. You could obviously turn the wheel, in or out to help you. I am not gonna do that. You may want something to hold the caliper as well so you don't damage it, scratch it, chip it, anything like that. So I'm gonna see what I have. I really don't have much, but zip tie even, but I'll figure that out. So I'm just gonna grab a 21 socket and we will keep it moving here. All right, so I use the 21mm socket and I use this breaker bar that I have along with my jack handle. Turn the wheel, put it on the bolt, pull down. They were on there very tight. So from here, I have this little, whatever you would like to call it, kit from Harbor Freight. You could just put it on the pin like this and give it a few bonks with the hammer. So that's what I'm gonna do to pop these pins out. So I'll do that right now. All right, so I bonked the pins out. Here they are. You may want to clean them off just so it helps slide them or lubricate them. But this is how this thing sits in here. So when it comes out, you're just gonna pull it out, put it down on the ground like that so you don't mess up. That is something new. I didn't know these had that. Wasn't even paying attention to it. It looks like a 13. So it looks like you need a 13mm to actually remove this pin here, which will let you finally release the calipers. So, or I'm sorry, the brake pads. So it looks like it's not really as quick change as the Mustangs are, which is weird, but obviously they have their reasons because this is a big pig. But again, I loosened those bolts, so I will I'm gonna be lazy, or try and be lazy. I'm just gonna pull the caliper off. I'm not gonna remove that 13mm in the center there. So let's see what happens. I knew that was gonna happen. So I pulled the caliper off, got the two bolts off, set them aside. The one pad will obviously just go flying right out. Here is your pad level sensor. It tells you if your pads are low. You're just gonna wanna jiggle this thing out, pull it off, set it off to the side there. It is stuck to the caliper, so it's really not going to fall anywhere. And then from there, the pad will come flying out. You can go do one of these. Lift. Let my pad go. Come on. There it goes. There's a little ledge in there that stops the pad from falling out. As you can see, these pads were getting low. Sorry for the finger in the way. That's passenger. That's driver. Inner, outer, whatever you'd like to call it. And that's that. I'm going to see if I'm going to have to compress these pistons, but I don't think I will have to. If If I do, I just use like a C-clamp, push them in, but we'll see what happens here. All right, the rotor, as far as this coming off, usually just smack the thing with a hammer from the back side and it should come right off. So I'm gonna get to beating this thing, and I'm gonna support this caliper somehow so it doesn't get scratched. All right, you will need a T50 Torx bit to remove the bolt that holds the rotor on, and then from there, like I said, the rotor's gonna take some abuse. Not from this little hammer. You're gonna need a dead blow or something serious to get this off, because these things are usually stuck on there pretty good from heat cycles. So I'm gonna get the big hammer and smack it, but you gotta remove that Torx bit first. New rotor is on. Make sure you put the guide bolt back in. Now we can unwrap these brake pads here. Again, 2 smacks from that hammer. Got the rotor to come right off, no problem. Let's see if these pads should be exactly identical, honestly. Thank you. So there's pad numero uno. Pad 2. Different design. 2 strips, 1 strip. Wow. All right, so you're gonna put the pad in. You gotta put this pad in. You're gonna come up on an angle and then let it sit on the shelf, put it back down. Same thing with the other side. You're gonna go in like that, and then again, make sure these line up because you're gonna put the pins through them. So I'm gonna assemble that right now. Here's the new pads, rotor, everything back on. It actually went on quite nice. I assembled the pads in the rotor, I'm sorry, in the caliper before I actually slapped it on here. So first I drove this pin all the way through, and then I put these pad holder clip thing in first, and then you're going to want to bend this down as hard as you can, slide this other pin in, and just grab this, and then from there you can put your thumb here, put more pressure on, and walk this pin all the way through, and then just tap it with a hammer and you're good to go. I actually did not have to compress the caliper at all. I just slid it on and did a couple of these little movements and it slid right into place. I started the bolts, so now I will send the bolts home and this side will be done. I'll put the wheel back on. Make sure to put your low level sensor for your pad back on there, and that's it. I'll move on to the other side. All right, finished up the passenger side in like 15 minutes. Went quick. Obviously, once you figure out the driver's side, like anything else, when you get in the truck, you want to make sure you just push the brake pedal several times before you go anywhere, so that way the pistons on the caliper reset to a position where they'll actually allow the truck to brake. Obviously, push the brake a couple times. I know some ASS certified mechanics like myself that sometimes get a little jumpy, that they just finish a job and they can't wait to go beat the brakes off of it, and they forget and they go right through their garage door. Tommy two scoops. So here we go. What I like to do for these break-ins, no pun intended, is go like 30-40 miles an hour, hit the brakes, come down to about 20, and then accelerate again to cool them down, brake again from say 40-50 mile an hour back down to 20 or 15, accelerate again, brake one more time. Do not come to a complete stop and sit on the brakes. That'll usually make a little hot spot, so you want to just always keep it moving, and then from there you can do one or two at speed, just to get some heat really in them and call it a day. So this little stretch of road leaving my house is always pretty decent. So like I said, we'll get up to 50 or so. Break down to 20. Go one more time. She already stops like a new girl. The old brakes, I guess it's probably just the pad, you know, they're quiet, but the thing stopped like my ass, excuse my language, but like the old 3.0 brakes, like the non-HST baby brakes, I felt like that truck stopped better than this thing. This thing, you honk on it and I'm like, where's the pedal? So here we'll get up to emergency stop, but just, you know, stopping aggressive enough. Battery's getting low, so whatever. Just do this a couple times, and like I said, you'll be good to go. Just get some heat in them. Make sure you're not warping them or anything like that, and I'll let my wife have at it. All right, thanks for watching.